Hi guys, so this week Rishi Sunak managed to get his Rwanda bill through Parliament and it has just been signed into law. The UK-Rwanda deal was supposed to create a deterrent for people arriving by small boat. The deterrent being that you would be picked up and sent automatically to the African nation. Now that isn't likely to work, but by accident it seems Rishi Sunak got something of a different result that he's still very happy with. Asylum seekers and refugees in Great Britain seem to be using what's called the Common Travel Area to flee to Ireland. It isn't so much a deterrent to cross the Channel, but a deterrent to stay in Britain, which is causing a bit of a headache for the Irish government at a time when the issue of immigration is reaching a fever pitch.
It's a flagship policy of the British government. Migrants who arrive in the UK illegally will be sent to Rwanda to have their applications processed under laws passed this week. But is the policy of our nearest neighbour simply exporting the problem here?
What it also shows, I think, is that the deterrent is, according to your comment, already having an impact because people are worried about coming here, and that demonstrates exactly what I'm saying.
The Justice Minister has said new laws will ensure migrants can be sent back to the UK.
What's clear in the decision that the UK have taken in choosing Brexit, they have actually seen an increase in people seeking asylum in their country. The way that they deal with that, it's their policy. My focus as Minister for Justice is making sure that we have an effective immigration structure and system. That's why I'm introducing fast processing. That's why I'll have emergency legislation at Cabinet this week to make sure that we can effectively return people to the UK.
Migration.
Okay, but because the UK is no longer a member of the European Union, you can't do that. So this is actually a Brexit benefit in a sense for the UK. The Irish government can create whatever emergency legislation they want, but they can't force Britain to take these people back. So what's happened here? What's happened is asylum seekers and refugees in Britain are afraid that they may end up being deported to Rwanda. This is not a deterrent against people crossing the Channel. This is a deterrent against people staying in Britain. So some of them who are waiting to be processed or waiting for their final decision on whether they will be able to stay in Britain or not are fleeing, in a sense. And they're using common travel areas. Some of them are going to Northern Ireland and then crossing the border into the Republic of Ireland and then claiming asylum or I don't know what. Now, we also don't have any figures, so I don't know if this is a significant number or not. But I think at the end of the day, this is a bit of a storm in a teacup. On the surface, it sounds like, a diplomatic disaster. But I think what's going to happen is the Irish government and the British government are going to sit down and they're going to resolve this. The Tories might try to drag this out a bit because now they've found an actual benefit of this policy. But I think if they try to push it too much, it'll end up blowing up in their face, because if the Irish government go to the European Commission may put pressure on the French to end their agreement with the United Kingdom. So if that was to collapse, it would be extremely embarrassing for Rishi Sunak. It would be more embarrassing than working out some sort of agreement with the Irish government. So at the end of the day, I think there will be an agreement. But of course, opposition parties in Ireland are trying to take advantage of the situation themselves.
Is one of the issues being discussed at the Ain Tuairdeis today. Its leader, Peadar Tóibín, says an Irish sea border should be looked at.
I'm actually quite shocked that Sunak would actually claim as a victory that they are diverting immigrants into Ireland. In actual fact, Dublin and London should be working in partnership in relation to dealing with this issue in the first place, because we have a common travel area and we have shared challenges on this issue, and operating singularly is not going to help this country to be able to deal with this issue.
Sinn Féin says bilateral cooperation is needed between both governments.
We can't have a situation where, because of a change in policy in Britain, that we then have people applying for asylum in Britain and then travelling on to Ireland. We have to have arrangements in place where those people are returned safely back to Britain and have the applications processed in that country.
Yes, but that's, once again, as I said before, you can ask the British government to take these people back, but they're under no obligation to do so because of Brexit. The UK is no longer a member of the European Union. It doesn't have to apply to any conventions. Now, as I said before, it will be eventually resolved because it's not in the British government's favour. It's not in their interest to create problems for the Irish government. and eventually create problems between them and the French. I think Rishi Sunak has finally found a benefit. It created a sort of deterrent for people to stay in Britain, but that's extremely embarrassing because Britain is supposed to be a safe place. People should not be fleeing Britain because they're afraid they're going to be deported to Rwanda. And as we know, very few people are actually going to be deported. So as the policy really, when the rubber hits the road and this policy really does fall apart, I think this problem will go away. But also it could potentially become a problem for Labour if they win the election, because what sort of agreement are they going to have with France and with Ireland? Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.